welcome back to the Blizzard Arena, here for the group stage of the HGC Finals 2018. It's a beautiful day here in Burbank, California. Beautiful because the sun's shining? I have no idea. I haven't even been outside today. No, beautiful because of this, because of these people and these teams and this game. It's been an amazing day. We just got finished watching Dignitas 2-0 Tempest. From Korea, it was unbelievable. If you didn't see that game, you gotta go back and watch it. Those two games in particular were amazing play by Dignitas. They are here to win. Such cool, calm, collected confidence from them. Up next, Leftovers versus Mindfreak from Australia. There is a path for Mindfreak to BlizzCon, still possible and open to them, but it is an incredible steep hill for them to climb. But it starts with this matchup. If they lose as many as one game off of this matchup, that opportunity will shut down completely. Can they keep their hope alive? Let's head on over to Gillyweed and find out.
Thank you, Kevin. I am stoked to be back here. I've got Wolf and Jayhow with me. And Jayhow, I think we're gonna have to get all of our "but remember BlizzCon 2015" jokes out of the way, because, or not really jokes, references. Because if Dignitas keeps on the climb they're keeping on, this looks like a Dignitas that wins BlizzCon.
It does. I mean, that team looks so incredibly strong. Snitch's play, I don't know what to make of this. It seems like every single person on that team might be the absolute best in their region and could contend for the best in the world at every single role that they have. Watching Snitch make plays, Wubby make plays, the teamwork that it takes. I mean, teamwork second to none when it comes to Dignitas. It's a phenomenal performance so far for them.
But there are two Korean teams on the other side of the bracket that we have to remember they're out there too. Miracle seems undefeated at the moment. Gen.G dropped a map to Team Liquid, but
yeah, but one of those Korean teams just lost pretty dominantly to Team Dignitas.
That was a third Korean team in the other group.
And for Tempest, Jayhow, they're going to be going through not as the #1 seed now, but sometimes you just have to go with the hand you're dealt, my friend.
Yeah, when all cards are on the table, you just kind of got to let it go, and you wonder, am I going to get that Joker card? So sometimes you just have to deal with it that way. I mean, dominant maybe sometimes when you look at Korea, but if you shorten that dominance, you got Dami, and so there's not the full dominance yet from Korea, right, Wolf?
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes North America spins the wheel in terms of draft, and I think we might see something similar here for Mindfreak in this series. I think we're going to see some crazy picks. We might see some tankless comps with a little bit of Brightwing sprinkled in there. Main tank Brightwing, I should say, not Brightwing, like literally Brightwing, but
Well, there's 21 reasons
Brightwing
at least to watch this next series, and Brightwing is going to be one of them. Let's take a look at the standings, and you can see why Kevin already mentioned it. It is that Mindfreak needs to 2-0 the next 2 matches, and they're versus Leftovers, and then tomorrow, Team Dignitas. And I hate to break it to them, Dig looked pretty strong. I think that's going to be a tough task for them to do, but if they can do it, if they can get 2 2-0 wins, then they will kick out the one from the top 4 of the group and be able to make it in, which would be quite a feat for ANZ.
Yeah, for them, they've been here. A lot of them have international experience. They've been around the block, and they want to be able to get further than maybe some of their predecessors have ever had.
Yeah, what happens in the group stage hopefully won't stay in the group stage for Mindfreak. We've got 2 matches left for today. Leftovers will go up against Mindfreak, and there could be some spicy things that come out in the drafts, which I know our audience is probably very excited about, because that's kind of what Leftovers like to do, have a little bit of fun.
Yeah, we have seen both of these teams like to have fun, okay, right? What Leftovers said when we interviewed them before going into this group stage, like, what we enjoy the game for is having fun, like not winning per se, but actually enjoying what we're playing, and that's when we feel like we play at our best. And when your opponent is also playing unusual strategies, I think maybe that can make you as a player feel like you're enjoying yourself a little bit more.
Yeah, Jay, do you think they're just going to roll the dice and that's how they figure out what they're going to be playing, or is it something like just an all-in kind of strategy?
Well, there is the whole thought process that you could just drop the ball, spin the wheel, and kind of, it's like roulette almost. But I think for them, when you look at the compositions that have come out in particular North America, some of the other regions, they're not bad comps, they're just off meta, but they're extremely high execution comps. I think that's where people get it messed up, right? You could play meta and it's a little bit easier, you know the path to victory. With the off meta, it requires almost 100% precision, and that's so difficult at this level. you can criticize them, I think, fairly enough. But I think it's just like when you get to the international stage, some of this will work leading up here, and then you come and try and find out, does it work? And then it's like, look, one minor mistake, it's over from there, and it's so hard to recover.
Well, my expectation for this team, Mindfreak, is at least in game 1, we see some strategies that have been working out for them so well, though something wasn't working out for Fat94 there.
Yeah, I've been watching him throughout the group stage through this openings. I almost said cinematic, but it felt very cinematic when he was doing that. I have been trying to figure out what that is for the longest time. And I think I'll just have to go ask him. I don't think there's only one way I get the answer to that. So I don't think anyone else can figure that out and crack that code.
J-How? Who?
J-Who?
We go down
the real Josh Howard?
we go through the list of all my Smurfs. We got J what in there?
J-Y?
Yeah, let's just go.
Sometimes I think JY with the jokes that you use when we're at the commentator desk together. Who are they going to be relying on to take them through?
I'm going to rely on the crowd for comfort. At least got a few sympathetic, things out there. For them to rely on, I really actually think that Mindfreak can go back down the unusual path. I really don't think it was that far off, and sometimes all it takes is to get ahead a little. As there's a Mindfreak fan, I was waiting for that to scroll through there, but it doesn't take that much to say, all right, this starts. When you play from ahead with those compositions, it's much easier. Like I said, the minute you get behind, it's much more difficult.
Yeah, I feel like both these teams are just going to do what they want to do. I think when we look at these drafts, once we find out the battlegrounds, et cetera, and head to it, I don't think we're going to be like, okay, well, they picked this, so the counter is this, and they're thinking about what their opponents are doing. I think they're going to play to comfort here. And obviously for Mindfreak, the series means a lot more than it does for Leftovers. So I think they're just going to play what they played throughout the group stage and tried to win with, despite the Titan that is Dignitas they'll have to face tomorrow after winning this one. So again, tall mountain to climb, but I think they're going to put their best foot forward, the best comp forward, even if the rest of the world looks at it and says, well, that's a little bit weird.
Well, let's talk about Leftovers now, because Leftovers no longer in the running means that all the pressure is off of this team, and we know that that's when they excel. So do we truly feel like this is going to be a place where Leftovers bring in some strategies, some fun heroes, do things like perhaps the Cho'Gall that we saw versus North America at the Western Clash, or is it more so that they want to take this final amount of time, play what got them here, and get a little bit more practice in?
I wouldn't be surprised if they do have a little fun. Everybody knows that they love the crowd, and the crowd is here. If you want to get behind them, you weren't here at Western Clash. They love playing off this. It's one thing Mopsio told me before day one ever started. He's like, look, we love the energy. We love the crowd. It just makes us play better. Some things, I mentioned it at the end of the show yesterday, is that for this team, it's brand new experience for the majority of them. Most of them, their first LAN back in August, now their first international experience. You're gonna hit some road bumps along the way. They've hit those. Now it's smooth sailing from here. There's nothing to lose.
I think for a lot of teams in this position, the third seed from Europe, first team from Europe to who didn't make it to Anaheim, there's a lot of feelings of frustration that comes with that, but I think most teams would say, well, at least we didn't lose to Australia at the end. At least we were able to get those last 2 points. But I think for this squad, they're going to say, we're going to have fun. Like, whether we win or we lose here, I want to remember my last moment in this group stage as I had a great time in front of an awesome crowd.
Yeah, I see a Cho'Gall sign. I see a Brightwing sign. I see a lot of people excited to see what kinds of picks we get here. Any heroes that you guys are especially wanting to see from a team without pressure, without expectations, who can just come in and have some fun?
I mean, mine are pretty well documented. I don't mind a good Sylvanas or Butcher pick, but I think...
What a surprise!
But I think when we look at the history of this team, remember, Leftovers was the team that came out at the Western Clash Finals and tried to give them the clamps. So I don't think it's out of the question that we might get something a little weird.
All right, a Gazlo for J-How. Wolf?
I mean, I'd like to see a Nova. I think that'd be really fun. A lot of sniping, backstab potential. We never really see Pro Nova. We saw Nova from, I want to say Taiwan last year.
Oh, yeah.
We did see that one Nova game, and that's the only time I've really seen Nova in a somewhat serious sense because it was a really cool composition. So, I mean, I doubt we'll see it, but I'd love to.
We saw some Equinox Nova a while back. Everyone knows what I want. There's a Brightwing sign out there. That'll tell you just as much. Though I want the tape.
We've already gotten Brightwing, though. We already
even
got it.
More of them all the time. Brightwing every game. Let's get into the Battleground pool and see where it might be. See, right? Yeah. Battlefield and Dragonshire are the bans, and we're headed to Cursed Hollow for game 1.
Well, the Abathur, we saw the solo support Abathur from Dignitas, always fits well in this Battleground. Cursed Hollow, we know you can play around the globals, the Dahaka comes into play. We've seen different varieties of it. We haven't seen Falstad in what seems like forever. You kind of wonder if Falstad will ever find his way back into the meta. There just seems to be a lot better picks beyond that. So the global priority will be there. It's just a matter of how much you can get away with maybe a tempo strategy of avoiding a lot of things and playing around the map, or whether you want to take it directly, which we know Leftovers has done in the past, where, look, they're coming into team fight, and that's a one-directional path for them, is they're coming to kill you, and that's what they know to do best.
Let's see what they end up grabbing here early. I think the first choice here for Mindfreak will lead us down a little bit of an idea as to what they're thinking in terms of controlling the map or controlling it in a big picture, as in the macro, the lanes, the experience, or controlling objectives and team fights, which is what they're more known for here. We'll see Leftovers take the standard Tyrande opening, very safe, can draft into anything. Mindfreak already pulling out the gray main early, so we've seen a lot of tank Uther with this, but this is with an Anubarak, so more of a standard DPS gray main here with not necessarily going to have that Divine Shield.
I mean, that's the same rotation that NA teams have been running quite a bit. Cursed Hollow is a place where the sooner you open up things like the boss lane, the better those bosses are going to do. And Mindfreak bootcamped for about 10 days in North America, so they've gotten accustomed to those kinds of strategies, and let's see how the adjustment works for them, what other heroes they might add to this that bring in their comforts at the same time.
I think when you look at it, it all comes down to, we saw Miracle just hours ago, and it was on Sky Temple, but Junkrat is always very good against that. Junkrat maybe not the best on Cursed Hollow, but then you could also run the Garrosh. We see the Garrosh not available because the Anubarak's there, so you have to come up with different options, or excuse me, the Garrosh could still be available. There's the Sylvanas.
Yeah.
There it is. Okay, we got one down.
And Lucio.
So this is similar to the strategy that we saw from Tempo Storm on this very same map. Anubarak Greymane, you spawn the beetles, you have a lot of sieging potential with the Greymane. Sylvanas locks down structures now by way of auto attacks. You can actually cycle them, her auto attack speed very high. You can auto attack and switch between those. You don't necessarily have to take the same one lane approach. And on the other side, my goodness, these drafts are getting crazy.
They certainly are. I really like the Sylvanas adaptation here for Mindfreak because it gives you the ability to shut down those structures and really hit hard, clear the waves very, very quickly. There's also amazing team fight potential with this, especially with picks like the Tracer and the Illidan that came afterwards. This could even be a situation with those two heroes in particular where mind control is viable in team fights. The silence is going to be very powerful in an AoE sense. And yeah!
We did it. So this is the strategy I've been waiting for. You hard push one lane, Vikings take care of the rest. You got Lucio to speed you on out of there. There are some tricky things you can do. I know a few of those with Sylvanas. They're pretty fun to play.
That explains a lot of what the draft was meant to be. Greymane with strong pushing power. You can have him with the Sylvanas to get that extra clear. Lost Viking is just going to hide in the lanes. You know, on the other side, Dahaka could maybe hunt down a Viking with Brushstroke, but otherwise...
So those some Viking killers that could definitely
Tracer is your main... Okay, so to really try and analyze this, right, because this is fun, don't get me wrong, but the Tracer is a great counter towards Vikings because you need a Viking killer. She's seen some nerfs, which it takes a little longer in the early game because her auto attack damage nerf, pulse bomb damage nerf. So Tracer can track those down. It's a matter of commitment of resources. So it is one thing that you have at your availability. The other thing is vision is so paramount on this map. You can control the vision points, but you also have Tyrande. We've seen the Tyrande use that Sentinel to be able to scout out rotations throughout this map. And once that's scouted out, it makes your defensive rotations that much easier. So for the side of Leftovers, they actually have very good capability to counter a lot of what they're going to do.
Well, Leftovers need to keep in mind the bosses too, because Greymane, like working on structures, also could do that with the boss, and Vikings open up a lot of that flexibility for rotations. I'm really pumped for this series. Casters, what about you?
I'm a little bit worried, to be honest with you. I'm looking at this and I see a Tracer, I see an Illidan with a Hunt, I see another Global. I mean, it's pretty clear what Mindfreak is trying to do here. Do you think they can pull it off, though?
Look, quite honestly, they've played a composition here that shows a little bit of spice, a little bit of flair, but I think what I'm seeing from the Leftovers is that they want to bounce us all the way back to Australia.
Shorten the flight a little bit.
Yeah.
You have to appreciate that, though. It's a long flight.
You know, they're going to reduce the jet lag for us by just killing us as quickly as possible.
Yeah, I can appreciate that too. I mean, they're going to try and make that happen. I expected a little bit more of a Mimi draft from the Leftovers themselves, but they have a no tank comp with DAB on the left here on a Tracer. Poribos is the one who plays the Illidan, linked, of course, on the support here still with Turan Mopsio on Dehaka and Blake Kidney on the last pick on Hanzo.
And from ANZ, the child heart sweethearts, it's Mindfreak with Madhax on Lucio, Vanilla playing the Sylvanas, Bad 94 on the Anubrak, Ryu flexing to the Lost Vikings, and John giving us that Greymane. And, you know, already they bring up a great point on the desk, which is, in theory, this gives you the ability to have that 4-man rotation. If a gank ever comes across, you got the Lucio to get yourself out of harm's way. But the catch to that, Caldor, is this is really, really good talent at level 4 for Tracer, which can do amazing things.
Yeah, I think there is a good chance that considering what the Leftovers have done so far and considering the composition they're up against, we're going to get the untouchable here for them to really stack it. But already a very sneaky attack at the keep. I am loving this. Australia coming out swinging, soaking with the Vikings. The problem, though, is they're a little bit in the corner now.
Look, this is a strategy that I'm well versed with. I've seen them do this before. And, you know, maybe against some quick match opponents, it will work. But when we're here on the HGC Finals, it may not fare the same way. That's a triple kill before the 1 minute mark. How about a quad kill? And quite honestly, Caldor, we're still soaking. We're doing okay.
Four heroes for Tower High call worth.
Absolutely. I mean, Kappa in chat right there indeed. You know, this is a minor region showcasing what we can do. We're just going to blame that one on the jet lag.
Yeah, exactly. Didn't they have a boot camp? Didn't they arrive a week early?
we don't want to talk about that.
All right, okay, yeah, the jet lag definitely to blame here. And, well, for now, the Leftovers at least starting to pressure this quite heavily at the bot lane. We leave an Illidan alone on lane. He can do amazing things, but finally we have a reaction as not only a Viking is present, but also Nubarak is making his way. And look at the minimap. There's a couple of friends that are showing up too.
There are a lot of friends.
Australians have always been very nice people, so they travel in packs.
I mean, look, you're standing next to me. You're enjoying my company. I would like to think so. And I'm enjoying this game with you. So, you know...
Someone lied to you.
Wow. I'm just getting publicly roasted right now. And, you know, I'm going to continue on, you know. We're going to jump into this action. This time, Two Towers in a bit more of a traditional fashion. Mopsio decides to get amongst it. Burrows on down deep under, getting into the chaos. Can we find a kill? John jumps in, but there's a gate blocking the potential.
He was so close there, though, and they're really pressuring heavily with the Siege Giant camp. I'm liking that approach quite a bit here. Sylvanas with the Siege Giants coming through. And of course, there's still the Vikings soaking everywhere. Leftovers is trying to look for kills, and they find a few, but so far only against the Vikings. They get the drag, though, and there's the kill as John goes down and Greymane explodes.
That's one stack for DAB right there. You're quite right. The untouchable stack has been unlocked at level 4. Fantastic for them. Unending Hatred at level 1 for Illidan. The staple now for all Illidans. That's also going to find value. And Polyboss picked up one. Might be looking for a second right now. Dive is available. Is evasion here too. It will be. No shots will be taken. No health will be lost except for that one final shot. But Leftovers saying, you draft me, we go hunting.
Yeah, and at this point, to be honest, I think that Mindfreak needs something that is a little bit aggressive there. If they don't release a couple of drop bears onto the map, they're going to have a tough stance here.
You just had to drop that in there, didn't you?
Yeah.
You like that?
Shout out to Tim.
Tim is a very gullible member. He believes...
They again at the keep. Tower number 2. And the Leftovers are just like, wait, what? They're going for it again. Here comes the collapse onto them. Let's see how much Mindfreak actually gets here. They clearly try to snipe the keeps to get the cut-off pressure going on early. But already, Bat 94 goes down.
That he does indeed. And Madhax now is utilizing that Amped up to try and make sure this team can get away. Vanilla gets the Haunting Wave out. Mopsio comes in. He's going to get the Dark Swarm pulse by the tongue. That's a beautiful boop away, but only delayed inedible. Does, however, make Leftovers run away. And Mindfreak, with what remained from that 4-man squad, survive with 2.
I am actually changing my opinion here. There are apparently no friends amongst Aussies. They just let him die. Who runs away the fastest? Well, Lucio's trailing behind a little bit. Screw him. We're out of here.
Look, you know, it's a brutal region down under. It's all a fight for the top. Who can come to BlizzCon? Who can come to the mid-season brawl? And who can make it for these big tournaments? And even amongst your own team, you're thinking, look, I don't want to be the guy that gets embarrassed on the world stage.
Exactly.
You can die instead of me.
Poisonous snakes and spiders, alligators, teammates that leave you alone on the map. It is a hazardous environment.
That's why people don't come down under. It's a very scary place. But looking at this one, John is going to cause some feral harass. He's going to jump in there. And the tribute will be spawning. Currently 1 in favor of Leftovers, spawning in a favorable position for them. as Balog falls down once more.
Of course, with the Vikings in play, the one thing for the Mindfreaks is still that they are in a position where they can always rely on that experience soak, and that's what they're doing right now. Is again the push is going strong. Sylvanas wants these pushes, but Mopsio is there looking for the drag. Here comes DAB, the bomb not taking John down, though he survives for now, but Vanilla falls.
That they do indeed. John so low. All members of Mindfreak actually very, very low, and Leftovers in a fantastic position so far. They've been really shutting down what Mindfreak are trying to achieve with this composition. They draft the Illidan and the Tracer, the last pick of a TLV. You're counteracting yourself, really. But they commit, and the punishment potential, it's really hitting hard home now.
You know, I'm absolutely going to be honest with you. I think the composition that Mindfreak plays here is incredibly difficult to face and can be very annoying.
Yes.
But Leftovers, they have the perfect answers here. We saw how strong it can be to just play around your opponent and try and snipe structures when Tempo Storm played it. But now the Leftovers have not only with the Untouchable on level 4, a Tracer that capitalizes heavily on those Vikings, but we also have the Pseudo-Global with Illidan's Hunt and the Dehaka. There's a fantastic reaction in the draft by Leftovers against a super annoying draft for Mindfreak.
Mindfreak are going to go in for the invade to take away the boss. Mopsio has vision, but he already had vision from the Owl. They picked up the boss.
Arrow!
The arrow! The members split apart. We talk about poisonous spiders, but that's going to be the road followed from the Hunt. Dead members from Mindfreak.
Lucio is already down, and he might not be the only one as John is being attacked. You know nothing. John E goes down, and so did the Vikings. 2 of them already dead. And we are seeing even more fall here as once again the last one is being picked up here. Fat94 also in trouble. He goes down, and DAB is putting Vanilla into a very, very difficult position.
The recall! Is he going to die to minions? Is he going to die to minions? He does! He dances left, he dances right, and I'm sure he's going to call for the 3-2-3
And loses all
He loses all
of the
his stacks!
untouchable stacks.
The Aussie Hunter out in the outback, he dies from Sunstroke.
I mean, the one thing that we just learned is that the Australians are not strong enough to take down the Tracer, but the minions at least are.
Our minions are stronger than our players. Oh no, it's a tragedy right there.
Already the boss pushing through, and I mean, just look at the experience lead here for the Leftovers. Not even the Vikings can make up for that. Mindfreak wants the level 10, and they desperately need it as the Leftovers are pushing through the bot lane with the curse, with the boss. They're looking for that keep.
That they are indeed. Top lane pressure is there. You've got a Viking consumed and preoccupied. Mid lane, top lane, all pushed in. Boss is doing its work, as you already called on, out and a 3-level lead. It is quite disgusting at this stage, Cowdle. 14 kills to 1.
But Leftovers have to be careful. If we know one thing about Australia, it's that Australians are very resilient, and Melbourne is better than Sydney. The Cocoon is on the ground, the arrow comes through, and again it's being dodged here, but Lucio still falls.
Lucio does fall indeed, and Boss now loves these kind of situations. He wants to chase on through. He goes for it. He's on towards Vanilla, and he's saying, where are your minions now, friend? There's the hunt, there's the dive. Let's jive, let's kill, let's get them done. And that is a triple kill.
Oh, it's 7:30 in the game. The Leftovers, they want to go for it, but they can't. The keep is still not down.
Got to pick up that key. They're going to definitely get this one here in the top lane. If the
They're
bottom
gonna get
one
all of them.
before, they get them all. This is about farming XP at this stage.
I mean, you need to get those heroes on the higher levels, and that's the best way to do it. You kill all the structures first, all of them down. 5-level lead, the Leftovers going for it, and Mindfreak is about to lose game number 1.
That they are indeed. They're going to find that final kill on towards Greyman. They're going to get themselves onto the court. Everybody comes around as a party. Minions are dancing. Players are having a great time. And Mopsio, hands off the keyboard. He's the dinosaur because he just made us extinct.
And at that point, it goes down. Leftovers with the victory in game number 1. 8 minutes and 20 seconds for the Leftovers to win here on Cursed Hollow against Mindfreak. With a cool strategy, a cool idea, but unfortunately for the Australian team, running into a composition that more or less hard-countered the thought behind Mindfreak's comp.
Yeah, I mean, if we take it back, dial it back for 2 seconds on a serious note, you know, the idea is very reminiscent of what the devs brought up about how Tempo Storm tried to play in this map. But, you know, the answers were there, the forefront, this sort of, they're going to do something wild, they're going to do something crazy. They had the initiation, they had the potential. By that stage, they were so locked into this idea that TLV had to come out regardless of how many counters there were.
You need to play around your opponent if you're trying to run this composition. Lucio empowers you to run away while you're going for the structures with the Nubarak and Sylvanas plus the Greymane. But of course, if your opponent runs a Tracer that capitalizes on all the kills against the Vikings in particular, and you have the double global, with Illidan using the Hunt and also the Haka, he can always quickly react to those pushes that we are seeing from Mindfreak. So a great draft from the leftovers allow them to pick up a very easy victory in game number 1.
Well, the reactions were thick and fast in game number 1, and I'm sure the casters, well, actually, not even the analysts. Look, I'm so total about that to main Z. I'm sure the analysts have a lot to say about game number 1.
Well, that match was not short of great plays. It was a fun one to watch, and unfortunately, this is where Mindfreak's run ends. Congratulations, though, to the one who qualified, and that was such a tall task for China to do, but they made it.
They certainly did. It feels like a really low point for Australia at this point, given that they were really dominated that game. I think it was 20 kills to 1 there in the end. You have any thoughts on the match, JL?
I would really like to get on my soapbox and talk a lot about how that last game played out, but you know, we can do that later.
Yeah, I do want to just highlight some greatness that we saw there. We did get a kill on DAB, resetting the stack, so at least there was that.
Certainly so. There were a few missed arrows by DAB in that game, but I want to put those more towards the Australia team dodging them. But those were fun to watch.
This segment went on a lot longer than I thought. Look, okay, hold on. So first let's talk about, so I was on Gilly's box. Okay, you know, I really want to break this down real quick. Boxes, yes, correction, boxes, not just one box.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm on, yes, keep
okay,
going.
so here's something, right? I've run this strategy I don't want to say a dozen times, because it's probably more like 50 or 60. The Sylvanas strat, okay, a hero kill at level 1 is worth 300 XP, okay? That's what you need to know. A keep tower worth 800 apiece, right? Or 850, somewhere in there. You're not getting a net positive if you die there. If you lose 4 people, it's a negative, right? You got to sidewall the keep and then go and kill the keep and die on the keep. You get level 2, you're worth 350 XP. The keep is worth 2,050. You have a net positive of 300 XP. There's the math.
And you get catapults.
Hashtag
now you don't
calculated.
get catapults till the fort dies.
Well, I mean, you'll get it quickly,
and then
right?
you pick possession at 7. I don't.
Right.
It's,
Well, let's see if we can raise the bar and maybe my height after a word from our sponsors.